places. The Sea Org is a paramilitary group formed. They signed a billion-year contract. These are the most devoted Scientologists of all. They dedicate their lives to Scientology. And this billion-year contract, you get some years in between lives. But they believe in reincarnation. Sometimes it's reincarnation when you come back as a redneck.
Well, welcome back.
And they sign a billion-year contract, which means they will keep coming back lifetime after lifetime to serve Hubbard. The bases. There are, I think, 3 main places in the United States. There's Flagland Base, that's Clearwater, Florida, where the Scientologists, under the name United Churches of Florida, came in and started buying up properties. Now they basically pretty much control Clearwater, Florida.
Yeah, I was actually in on that, where the Office of Special Affairs, which was the Guardian's office back then, came to me and said, we did come here on a lie. So and this guy's main presence was Save Sparkling Clearwater, Stamp Out Scientology. So they said, we can't handle it because we did come here on a lie. So you have to handle it. And I did. I went around, I went to all their meetings, just like these guys are here, and tried to ask questions and change the topic and, get them, you say they're not right on this, they're not right on that. And finally they did vote the guy out of office. He totally got voted out of office. And I'm not proud of that. I haven't met him yet. I've met many of the people I was in on things that I was harmful to and apologized, but I have never been able to apologize to Richard Tenney, and I feel very bad about that. But anyway, that was one of their things that they did do in Clearwater, and since then they've expanded there. Can I say something about the creed or not yet?
Just a minute.
Okay. All right, go on.
While Scientology was moving in on Clearwater, Florida, it was a sleepy little retirement community. All of a sudden, this United Churches of Florida or was it United Southern Churches? One of the others. It was a different name. It wasn't Scientology, because they knew what sort of reaction they would get if they were to move in under their own name.
Now here's what they told me as the public, just so you get the other side of it. They called me in a room and they said, this is top secret, which Scientology often does that, so you think, ooh, wow. And they said Hubbard was going to come from his ship onto land to form a land base. But they found out that the FBI was there and they were going to plant drugs on the ship. So Hubbard came from, this was, I think, Georgia they were coming in on. So they came from Georgia, swung around to Florida, and bought the Fort Harrison under a phony name. So they said that's why we had to lie, because we were worried about it. I bought it. I truly, I was a true believer. I really was. I really, honestly believed these people. I did. I flat out did. I really did. And when I've written a thing on the internet called Flipping It, which is a thing that happens all the time in Scientology, and really in life people do it, where you'll see something like they have these things that are their things they believe in, but then you'll see that somebody doing the exact opposite. And you just go, okay, I'm not going to think about that now. And you keep going. Right? You just flip it off. But everybody who's left Scientology, at some point, something won't flip. And you just go, no, this is not flipping. I got to find out the truth. And that's what happened to me.
Now, the mayor of Clearwater at the time, Gabe Casares,
yeah.
Scientology tried to frame him.
They planted an attorney in his office.
This was 72-ish?
Around there.
Yeah. And Gabe is still outspoken. And he's an older gentleman now, but he has a lot of stories, and he's still kind of active, I think, in Clearwater, but not in politics. Pretty much, they've bought up every cheap politician they could get their hands on. Around here, we've got Luis Natividad, who thinks Scientology is the greatest thing since crunchy peanut butter and sliced bread. up in Los Angeles. You know, they've got a lot of influence there. Los Angeles is another place where there is a major Scientology presence. You can't walk down Hollywood Boulevard without bumping into a Scientology building. Practically, you know, here, there's the Hubbard Testing Center, there's the Citizens Commission on Human Rights, there's the L. Ron Hubbard Life Museum.
There's ABLE, there's Author Services, that, it goes on and on, yeah.
So they've got a huge presence in LA. And then there's the Celebrity Center.
But one thing I will say, they do have a huge presence, but I've picketed there a bunch, and they have a lot of people that can't stand them. They do. Because they do things all the time that irritate people. And instead of listening to them, they just keep doing them. And I've been amazed as a public person who was in Scientology to get out and go, why don't they change that? Why do they keep doing this? I've written to them on the internet and said, these are the things that you do that are just driving people nuts. Change them. Will they change them? Nope. Just keep doing them. It's like a hamster and a thing. They're going to do it.
Keep doing it. Maybe it'll come out differently someday.
Now, the truth is, Hubbard said, he wrote a thing called Keeping Scientology Working. And in every single course you do, you have to read and do Keeping Scientology Working. And it's 10 points of know the tech, know it's correct, apply it. You know, all those things are fine. But then he says, but this is where groups go wrong. People don't rat on each other. You've got to tell on, like if she's not doing it right, you've got to write up a knowledge report and tell us that she's not doing it right. Stuff like that.
That's called a KR, knowledge report.
Knowledge report.
I'll write one on you.
They're going to write one on us.
And then the third and most interesting place in California has got to be Gold Base. It's north of Hemet. It's a Scientology compound that used to be fairly isolated. When they first moved in there, it was an old resort. Golden Era golf courses there, Golden Era studios where they make the wonderful Dianetics infomercials you see at 2 a.m. on the Sci-Fi Channel. They make all that stuff there too. But also 10 miles outside of the compound, which is fenced in, and certain parts do have wire on top, so you can't get in or out. Up in it's Happy Valley. Castile Canyon.
Yeah, we went there.
Yeah, it's 10 miles away from anywhere. That was where they used to keep bad Scientologists.
Bad staff members. Just Sea Org members.
It's called the Rehabilitation Project Force. It's a re-education center to make you get right with Ron. And, Dennis Ehrlich. He was an old-time, very high-level Scientologist. Dennis Ehrlich was held in a chicken wire cage in the basement of the Fort Harrison Hotel for a while in Clearwater. Other people have been held in trailers at this place outside of Hemet. And some of them have been held against their will, and some of them spend years. Now, there was a guy I met at Gold Base named Ken Hoden. Ken Hoden was high up in the hierarchy at Gold Base. The latest report is he and his wife are now in the RPF in Los Angeles. So the Happy Valley place has been deteriorating over a few years. And it's thought that they're not using that as RPF anymore. But we don't know. We do know that the second floor of Big Blue in Los Angeles, which used to be the Cedars Hospital that they purchased, these people are held on the second floor. They're just, they're not right with Ron, and they've got to stay there until they get right. It's not something you can just walk away from.
That's the staff, not the public.
Right, publics, that's not a thing for them. It's
Sea Org.
Sea Org members. These guys wouldn't have to worry about it.